A drug test is a technical analysis of a biological specimen. For example, urine, hair, blood, breath, sweat, and/or oral fluid, saliva, to determine the presence or absence of specified parent drugs or their metabolites. Major applications of drug testing include detection of the presence of performance-enhancing steroids in sport, employers and parole, probation officer screening for drugs prohibited by law. BAC tests are typically administered via a breathalyzer, while urinalysis is used for the vast majority of drug testing in sports and the workplace. Numerous other methods with varying degrees of accuracy, sensitivity, and detection periods exist. A drug test may also refer to a test that provides quantitative chemical analysis of an illegal drug, typically intended to help with responsible drug use. The detection windows depend upon multiple factors: drug class, amount and frequency of use, metabolic rate, body mass, age, overall health, and urine pH. For ease of use, the detection times of metabolites have been incorporated into each parent drug. For example, heroin and cocaine can only be detected for a few hours after use, but their metabolites can be detected for several days in urine. The chart depicts the longer detection times of the metabolites. Oral fluid or saliva testing results for the most part mimic that of blood. The only exceptions are THC and benzodiazepines. Oral fluid will likely detect THC from ingestion up to a maximum period of 6 to 12 hours. This continues to cause difficulty in oral fluid detection of THC and benzodiazepines. Breath air for the most part mimics blood tests as well, due to the very low levels of substances in the breath air. Liquid chromatography, mass spectrometry has to be used to analyze the sample, according to a recent publication wherein 12 analytes were investigated. Rapid oral fluid products are not approved for use in workplace drug testing programs and are not FDA cleared. Using rapid oral fluid drug tests in the workplace is prohibited in only. The following chart gives approximate detection periods for each substance by test type. Urine analysis is primarily used because of its low cost. Urine drug testing is one of the most common testing methods used. The enzyme multiplied immune test is the most frequently used urinalysis. Complaints have been made about the relatively high rates of false positives using this test. Urine drug tests screen the urine for the presence of a parent drug or its metabolites. The level of drug or its metabolites is not predictive of when the drug was taken or how much the patient used. Rather, it is simply a confirmatory report indicating the presence of the parent drug or its metabolites. Urine drug testing is an immunoassay based on the principle of competitive binding. Drugs which may be present in the urine specimen compete against their respective drug conjugate for binding sites on their specific antibody. During testing, a urine specimen migrates upward by capillary action. A drug, if present in the urine specimen below its cutoff concentration, will not saturate the binding sites of its specific antibody. The antibody will then react with the drug protein conjugate and a visible colored line will show up in the test line region of the specific drug strip. A common misconception is that a drug test that is testing for a class of drugs, for example, opioids, will detect all drugs of that class. However, most opioid tests will not reliably detect oxycodone, oxymorphone, meperidine, or fentanyl. Likewise, most benzodiazepine drug tests will not reliably detect lorazepam. However, urine drug screens that test for a specific drug, rather than an entire class, are often available. When an employer requests a drug test from an employee, or a physician requests a drug test from a patient, the employee or patient is typically instructed to go to a collection site or their home. The urine sample goes through a specified chain of custody to ensure that it is not tampered with or invalidated through lab or employee error. The patient or employee's urine is collected at a remote location in a specially designed secure cup, sealed with tamper-resistant tape, and sent to a testing laboratory to be screened for drugs. Will detect most of the drugs of a class, but the employer or physician will not have the benefit of the identity of the drug. Employment-related test results are relayed to a medical review office where a medical physician reviews the results. If the result of the screen is negative, the MRO informs the employer that the employee has no detectable drug in the urine, typically within 24 hours. However, if the test result of the immunoassay and GCMS are non-negative and show a concentration level of parent drug or metabolite above the established limit, the MRO contacts the employee to determine if there is any legitimate reason such as a medical treatment or prescription. On-site instant drug testing is a more cost-effective